What if reality isn't what it seems? What if the universe doesn't exist as a fixed, solid thing, but as a field of endless possibilities, waiting for someone to observe it into being? It all began with a simple experiment. 2 narrow slits, a beam of light, a screen to capture the results. No one could have predicted that what happened next would shake the very foundations of science, philosophy, and spirituality. When physicists first performed the double-slit experiment, they expected a straightforward outcome, proof that light was either a wave or a particle. But what they discovered was far stranger. Light, and later even solid particles like electrons, seemed to behave as both. They passed through both slits at once, creating an interference pattern, as if they existed in multiple places simultaneously. But the real shock came when scientists decided to observe the particles directly. The moment they looked, the wave of possibilities collapsed. The interference pattern vanished. The particles acted as if they had decided to pick one path, simply because they were being watched. It was as though the universe responded to awareness itself. Observation didn't just reveal reality, it created it. This revelation changed everything. It suggested that consciousness might not be separate from the physical world, that perhaps at the deepest level, reality and awareness are intertwined. The double-slit experiment didn't just challenge our understanding of physics. It invited us to question the nature of existence and our own power as conscious observers. In 1801, a curious British scientist named Thomas Young set out to answer a simple question that had puzzled physicists for centuries. What exactly is light? Isaac Newton had argued that light was made of tiny particles. Others, like Christian Huygens, believed it was a wave, rippling through some invisible medium. Young decided to find the truth for himself, and his experiment would go on to rewrite the story of reality itself. He took a beam of light and passed it through 2 narrow slits cut into a thin barrier. On the wall behind it, he expected to see 2 bright lines, matching the 2 slits. Exactly what you'd get if light behaved like bullets fired through openings. But that's not what he saw. Instead, Young witnessed a pattern of light and dark bands, like ripples overlapping on water. The bright areas showed where waves reinforced each other. The dark bands, where they canceled out. This pattern could only mean one thing. Light was behaving like a wave, not a stream of particles. It was a profound discovery, but the mystery was just beginning. Fast forward a century later, scientists were now studying quantum particles, tiny entities like electrons, far smaller than atoms. They decided to repeat Young's experiment, this time firing electrons one at a time through the same kind of double-slit setup. Surely, this time the result would be different. Electrons are matter, after all. They should act like solid, tiny marbles, hitting the screen in 2 distinct clusters. But what they found defied logic. Even when fired individually, the electrons still formed an interference pattern, the unmistakable fingerprint of waves. Each single electron seemed to pass through both slits at once, as though it were a wave of probability, exploring multiple paths simultaneously. It was as if each particle existed in a cloud of potential, until something or someone forced it to decide. Then came the twist that stunned the world. When scientists placed a detector to observe which slit the electron went through, the interference pattern disappeared. Suddenly, the electrons behaved like particles again, each choosing a single slit, as if the very act of being watched made them collapse into a definite state. How could a mere observation change the outcome of a physical experiment? What power could awareness possibly hold over matter? This moment, known as the collapse of the wave function, became one of the most important discoveries in physics. It meant that, at the quantum level, particles don't have definite locations or behaviors until they are measured. They exist as waves of probability, a spectrum of all possible outcomes, waiting to be chosen by observation. In other words, before something is seen, it exists in a state of pure potential. Once observed, it becomes real. This was more than a scientific puzzle, it was a philosophical bombshell. The double-slit experiment had revealed that reality doesn't simply exist independently of us. Somehow, the observer and the observed were entangled. Physicists like Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg began to wonder if consciousness itself played a central role in shaping the universe. As Bohr famously said, "When we measure something, we are forcing an undivided world to split itself." The double-slit experiment forever changed how we see the universe. It showed that reality isn't solid or separate. It's fluid, participatory, and profoundly mysterious. And if the act of observation can change the behavior of a single electron, what does that say about the power of your observation, your focus? What the double-slit experiment revealed wasn't just a strange quirk of physics. It was a glimpse into something far more profound, the observer effect. In classical science, observation was thought to be passive. A scientist could measure or record an event without influencing it, just watching nature do its thing. But quantum physics shattered that illusion. It showed that the very act of observing changes the outcome. When scientists observed the electrons, they behaved like particles, solid, definite, measurable. When left unobserved, they behaved like waves, fluid, uncertain, existing in many possible states at once. The conclusion was inescapable. The observer influences the observed. This raised a staggering question. What counts as an observer? Was it the measuring device, a piece of equipment detecting particles? Or was it the consciousness of the scientist looking at the result? If awareness itself could collapse a wave of possibilities into a single outcome, then perhaps consciousness and reality are deeply interconnected. Quantum pioneer John Archibald Wheeler once proposed something revolutionary, that the universe is a participatory universe. According to Wheeler, we are not simply watching a pre-existing world. We are co-creating it through observation. Every act of awareness contributes to shaping reality's unfolding story. This idea was shocking to the scientific establishment, but eerily familiar to ancient spiritual traditions. For millennia, mystics have said that the world you see out there is a reflection of the consciousness in here, that your perception doesn't just reveal reality, it defines it. Quantum physics seemed to be whispering the same truth in a new language. The observer effect suggests that reality doesn't exist as a fixed structure waiting to be discovered. It exists as a vast ocean of potential, a quantum field that responds to observation. When you observe, focus, or even intend something, you collapse potential into form. You pull one possibility out of infinity and call it your experience. Think about it. Every moment of your life you are observing, through your senses, your emotions, your beliefs, your thoughts. And in doing so, you are constantly shaping what appears before you. Two people can walk through the same world and experience completely different realities. One sees danger and limitation. The other sees opportunity and growth. The difference lies not in the external environment, but in the internal observer. Physicist Werner Heisenberg, who formulated the uncertainty principle, once said, "What we observe is not nature itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning." In other words, reality reflects the way we look at it. Your thoughts and perceptions are not mere byproducts of the world. They are the filters that determine which version of the world you perceive. The observer effect isn't just a scientific concept. It's a mirror, showing us that awareness itself is creative. It challenges the old worldview that separates mind from matter. Instead, it paints a picture of a universe that is alive, responsive, and conscious. Every thought, every act of attention becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of reality. This realization changes everything. You are not a passive witness to the universe. You are a participant in its unfolding. The observer effect tells you that consciousness is not something trapped inside your brain. It is a fundamental force, intertwined with the very fabric of existence. And if observation can influence the double-slit experiment opened the door to one of the most unsettling realizations in modern science, that reality is not as fixed as it seems. What we see, what we believe, and even what we expect may play a role in shaping the physical world around us. It's a radical idea, one that pushes the boundaries of physics, philosophy, and spirituality alike. To understand this, we have to look at what happens on the quantum level, the realm of the very small, where atoms, electrons, and photons exist. Here, the rules of everyday life don't seem to apply. Instead of behaving like solid particles, these fundamental building blocks act as probability waves, existing not in one definite place, but as a field of possibilities. In simple terms, before something is observed, it isn't a thing yet. It's a potential. When you look at the results of the double-slit experiment, this is exactly what we see. When no one observes which slit a particle passes through, it behaves like a wave, meaning it passes through both slits simultaneously, interfering with itself to form a wave-like pattern on the detector screen. But the moment we try to observe it, the moment consciousness interacts with it, the wave collapses. The particle chooses a definite path, and the interference pattern disappears. This raises an astonishing question. Does consciousness create reality? The connection between quantum physics and perception suggests that observation or awareness might play a key role in shaping how reality unfolds. Some physicists like John von Neumann and Eugene Wigner even proposed that the collapse of the wave function occurs because of the mind's active observation. In other words, the universe doesn't become real until consciousness interacts with it. While mainstream science remains cautious about this idea, the implications are profound. If our perception influences outcomes on a quantum level, it could mean that the way we think and perceive the world might subtly shape what we experience in everyday life. Modern experiments have begun to explore this connection. For example, quantum random number generators, devices that produce truly unpredictable results, have shown small but measurable deviations when groups of people focus their attention or intention on them. While controversial, these studies hint that consciousness might not be separate from the physical world but rather deeply interwoven with it. This idea aligns beautifully with many ancient spiritual teachings, which have long suggested that the universe is mental or energetic in nature. The Hermetic principle, all is mind, the Buddhist concept of dependent origination, and the Hindu idea of Maya, the illusion of material reality, all point to a deeper truth. Reality responds to the observer. Think about your daily life. Have you ever noticed that when you expect something to go wrong, it often does? Or when you visualize success, opportunities seem to align in your favor? This might not be mere coincidence or positive thinking. It could be a reflection of the same quantum principle, that your focus and perception direct the unfolding of potential outcomes. The double-slit experiment reminds us that we are not passive spectators in the universe. We are participants, conscious agents whose awareness interacts with the field of infinite possibilities. Every thought, emotion, and intention might ripple into the quantum fabric of reality, guiding which potential becomes actual. Quantum physics invites us to see perception not as a reflection of reality, but as a creative force that helps bring reality into being. Would you like me to continue with section 4, the quantum self? You as the observer almost equals 600 words. For centuries, science and spirituality have seemed like two opposing worlds, one grounded in logic, measurement, and evidence, the other rooted in faith, intuition, and experience. But the deeper we dive into quantum physics, the thinner that boundary becomes. The double-slit experiment, among others, has revealed that the fabric of reality is not purely physical. It's mysterious, interconnected, and responsive to consciousness itself. In this way, modern science is beginning to echo what ancient spiritual traditions have taught for millennia. At its core, spirituality teaches that the universe is alive and intelligent, and that human consciousness is not separate from it, but an expression of it. Quantum physics, in its own language, is starting to say the same thing. When electrons act differently depending on whether they are observed, when particles on opposite sides of the universe remain mysteriously connected through quantum entanglement, we are forced to confront a profound truth. Everything is interconnected. This idea resonates deeply with the ancient Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, as within, so without. The external world and our inner world are reflections of one another, a principle that quantum physics seems to validate. If the observer affects the observed, then consciousness is not something happening inside our brains. It is an integral part of the universe's creative process. Einstein once said that the most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. Though he personally resisted quantum uncertainty, even he recognized that the universe holds layers of meaning that extend beyond what equations alone can capture. Quantum physics, in revealing how uncertainty and observation shape reality, points us toward a holistic understanding of existence, one that unites measurable science with the metaphysical truths of spirituality. Consider the concept of the quantum field, an invisible sea of potential energy from which all particles arise. This mirrors ancient ideas of the akasha, chi, or prana, the subtle life force that underlies all things. In both science and spirituality, we find a shared message. Reality emerges from an unseen energetic or informational field. The difference lies only in terminology, not in essence. Similarly, the notion of non-locality in quantum mechanics, that two particles can remain connected across vast distances, echoes mystical experiences of oneness. Many meditators, shamans, and mystics describe states of consciousness where the boundaries between self and other dissolve, and everything feels unified in one living web of energy. Science now offers a framework that can begin to describe this unity, not as poetic metaphor, but as a measurable phenomenon. The double-slit experiment thus serves as more than a physics lesson. It's a symbolic bridge between two ways of knowing. It reminds us that rational inquiry and inner wisdom are not enemies but allies. When science explores the outer world and spirituality explores the inner, both are gazing at the same truth from different directions. This bridge invites us to reimagine what it means to know. True knowledge isn't just about accumulating data or mastering formulas. It's about understanding how consciousness and reality co-create one another. It's about realizing that your awareness is not a passive observer of life, but an active participant in the unfolding of the cosmos. Perhaps that's why so many great minds, from Nikola Tesla to Carl Jung to the Dalai Lama, have emphasized that science without spirituality is incomplete. The mysteries of quantum physics remind us that the universe is not a machine to be controlled, but a living field to be experienced and harmonized with. In this light, the double-slit experiment becomes a metaphor for your own awakening. Just as the act of observation changes a particle's behavior, your awareness changes your reality. When you bring mindful attention to your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you collapse the infinite potentials of your life into meaningful creation. The bridge between science and spirituality is not found in theories or temples. It's found in you. You are the meeting point of matter and mind, energy and awareness, the observer and the observed. The moment you realize this, you no longer live in a disconnected universe, you live in a conscious one. Would you like me to continue with Section 5? Applying the quantum truth to your life almost equals 600 words. To live the double-slit way means to become a conscious observer, someone who intentionally directs awareness rather than letting it wander unconsciously. It means understanding that your inner state doesn't just reflect your outer world. It shapes it. Let's explore how you can apply this in practical ways. 1. Observe without judgment. In the quantum world, the act of observation collapses a wave of potential into a particle, but it doesn't force it into a specific outcome. Similarly, when you observe your own thoughts, fears, or desires without judgment, you begin to bring awareness to them without resistance. Many people live on autopilot, reacting to life based on conditioned beliefs and emotional patterns. The double-slit principle reminds us that awareness itself changes everything. Simply watching your thoughts with mindfulness, instead of identifying with them, allows old patterns to dissolve and new potentials to emerge. Every time you pause to observe your mind instead of being controlled by it, you shift from unconscious reaction to conscious creation. 2. Focus intentionally. The universe is a field of infinite potential, but only the potentials you focus on can manifest. If you constantly think about fear, lack, or failure, you are unconsciously reinforcing those probabilities. But when you focus on love, growth, and purpose, you amplify those frequencies instead. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about energetic alignment. Your mind acts like a lens, focusing the wave of potential into one defined reality. The clearer your focus, the more coherent your energy becomes, and the faster life begins to mirror it back. Try this. At the start of each day, set a conscious intention. Feel the energy of what you want to create: peace, clarity, abundance, as if it already exists. You're not forcing reality to obey you. You're harmonizing with the version of reality that already contains that frequency. 3. Embrace uncertainty. The double-slit experiment teaches us that, at the quantum level, uncertainty is built into the fabric of existence. Reality is not fixed until observed, meaning unpredictability isn't a flaw, it's freedom. In life, this translates into letting go of rigid expectations. When you embrace uncertainty, you open yourself to infinite possibility. Every unknown becomes an open field where miracles can occur. Instead of fearing what's next, realize that the very unpredictability of life is what allows new realities to be born. Trust the mystery. Just as particles dance in probabilities before collapsing into form, your life, too, exists as a dance of endless potentials waiting for your attention to bring them to life. 4. Align emotion with intention. Thought directs energy, but emotion fuels it. The universe responds not to words alone, but to the vibration behind them. That's why aligning your feelings with your intentions is so powerful. If you visualize success but feel fear or doubt, your emotional signal sends mixed frequencies into the quantum field. But when you combine clear intention with gratitude, joy, or peace, your energy becomes coherent. You begin to attract circumstances that reflect that inner harmony. Gratitude is especially potent. It acts like a magnetic frequency that collapses reality into alignment with your desired state. 5. Live as the conscious observer. Ultimately, living the double-slit way means stepping fully into your role as the observer and creator of your reality. Instead of reacting to the world, you engage with it consciously. Instead of seeing life as something happening to you, you see it as something happening through you. Every moment becomes an experiment. Every thought becomes an observation that shifts the wave of possibility. When you begin to live this way, synchronicities increase, intuition sharpens, and you start to notice how effortlessly life aligns when you are centered in awareness. You realize that consciousness is not trapped in your head. It's the field through which everything arises. The double-slit experiment is not just a lesson in physics, it's a manual for awakening. By mastering observation, focus, emotion, and trust in uncertainty, you start to experience the truth firsthand. You are both the experimenter and the experiment, the observer and the observer. Up to this point, we've explored how you shape reality through observation, how your awareness, focus, and emotion collapse infinite potential into a tangible world. But what if the reverse is also true? What if the universe itself is observing you, responding, and evolving through your consciousness? This may sound mystical, but it's an idea gaining traction in both physics and philosophy, that the universe is not a lifeless machine but a living, conscious system. Just as your observation influences particles, the universe might be watching you through the very laws that sustain existence. Let's think back to the double-slit experiment. When we observe the particle, it behaves differently. It notices that it's being watched. In a way, this mirrors our own experience of being alive. You might notice how your behavior changes when you feel seen by another person, by society, or even by a higher presence. Suddenly, you become more self-aware, more intentional, more alive. What if the cosmos operates in a similar way? What if your awareness awakens the universe's awareness of itself? The participatory universe. The physicist John Archibald Wheeler proposed a revolutionary idea called the participatory anthropic principle. He suggested that observers are not just passive witnesses of the universe. They are participants who bring the cosmos into being through their observations. According to Wheeler, reality may not exist in a definite state until it is observed, meaning consciousness is woven into the very structure of creation. He famously said, "We are participants in bringing about something of the universe in the distant past, and if we are not there, the universe is not there." This means the universe and consciousness are in a mutual feedback loop. You observe the universe into existence, and the universe, through its laws and synchronicities, observes you back. It's a cosmic dialogue, a conversation between matter and mind that has been happening since the dawn of time. Synchronicity, the universe's language. Have you ever experienced meaningful coincidences, moments that feel too precise to be random? Carl Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity, where the inner world and outer world align in mysterious, symbolic ways. From a quantum spiritual lens, synchronicities may be how the universe communicates, subtle nods that you're aligned with its flow. When you tune into higher awareness, you start noticing patterns everywhere. Numbers, encounters, dreams, or moments that feel divinely timed. These are not just curiosities. They're reflections of an interactive universe responding to your frequency. In this way, you're not merely projecting onto reality, you're in relationship with it. The field of existence mirrors your consciousness, guiding you, testing you, and sometimes challenging you to grow. The mirror effect. Every situation in your life can be seen as a mirror of your inner state. Quantum theory tells us that reality doesn't exist independently of observation. Spirituality teaches that life reflects who you are being. Together, they suggest that the universe watches you not to judge, but to reflect, to show you where your energy is harmonious and where it is out of alignment. This mirroring can feel uncomfortable at times. When you're angry, fearful, or disconnected, life seems chaotic. But that chaos is simply feedback, the universe showing you what frequency you're currently broadcasting. When you realign with peace, gratitude, or love, the reflection shifts. This is why many mystics say that life is a classroom. Every experience is consciousness learning about itself through form. You are the universe observing itself. From this perspective, the double-slit experiment takes on a new, poetic meaning. It's not just that the observer affects the particle. It's that the universe built observers so it could see itself. You are the eyes, the mind, and the heart of creation, a point of awareness through which the cosmos experiences being alive. When you gaze at the stars are, in a very real sense, gazing back. When you awaken, the universe awakens with you. This is why ancient teachings, from the Upanishads to mystical Christianity, Repeat a profound truth. I am that. The same consciousness that looks out from your eyes is the same awareness that animates galaxies. To live with this awareness is to walk through life knowing that every moment is sacred, that you are seen, supported, and co-creating with an infinite intelligence. So yes, you are watching the universe, but the universe is watching you too. The double-slit experiment is more than a physics lesson. It is a mirror held up to your own consciousness. It reveals a truth both simple and staggering. You are not separate from reality. You are its observer, its participant, and its co-creator. Every thought, every intention, every moment of awareness shapes the world around you in ways both subtle and profound. Science shows us that at the quantum level, reality exists as a field of infinite possibilities. Conscious observation collapses these potentials into a definite outcome. Spirituality has long taught the same principle, that the inner world reflects the outer, and that awareness is the creative force behind all existence. Together, these perspectives remind us that life is not something that merely happens to us. Life is something we actively shape through focus, attention, and intention. Living with this understanding transforms how we move through the world. We begin to see challenges as feedback, setbacks as mirrors, and opportunities as the universe responding to our clarity and alignment. The chaotic noise of life becomes a symphony of potential, waiting for us to direct it with conscious awareness. Ultimately, being the observer is not just about watching reality unfold. It is about participating fully in its creation. Every thought, every feeling, every choice ripples through the fabric of existence, shaping the life you experience and the universe itself. The double-slit experiment teaches us that reality is fluid, alive, and responsive. And in this profound truth lies freedom. Freedom to awaken, to observe, to focus, and to create. You are not merely living in the universe. You are the universe observing itself through your eyes.